Welcome to Of Sound Mind and Spirit. I'm Shelly.
And I'm Lisa. We're sisters walking together on a journey of faith. We're not perfect.
And we definitely don't have all the answers. We're inviting you to walk with us as we explore ways we can better know and grow in our faith together. Welcome back to another episode from Of Sound Mind and Spirit. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Shelly.
So before we get started, I want to point out that this is the episode that is going to be released on Thanksgiving.
Yes, it is. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. And this is the episode that comes out right before Advent because Thanksgiving is so late this year, 2024, that it's going to be Advent in 3 days. So What should we talk about? Should we do a Thanksgiving episode like we did last year? Or should we move on to Advent? Should we flip a coin?
No. You can flip the coin, but we're talking about Advent. Yes.
I kind of had a feeling. See my purple? I wore purple for you.
Yes, you did. No. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's listening to this on Thanksgiving. If you want to hear a great Thanksgiving message, you can go back to our episode 27, Happy Thanksgiving.
That was a fun one.
That was a fun one.
And there's a Spotify playlist for you if you choose to go back and listen to that one.
Is. But today we're going to talk about Advent, and it's going to be a little bit different than our Advent episode last year because it's a different year.
Mm-hmm.
So, Shelly, why don't you tell us what's going on in your Advent journey this year since you love Advent so much? And you really do.
I do love Advent.
Yes.
I really do. And so I was sharing with you before we started that I got an email last week, and it was the parish sending out their Advent calendar. And it was every other day there was something that they were, I'll say inviting, but the way I read it didn't feel like inviting. It felt like, you must do this. You must do this. Hurry, run, don't stop. There's a day of reflection. There's an Advent penance service. There's our Maranatha concert, which I'm reading it, so I will go to that one. I have Edge. They're adding adoration. They're come do this, come do that. Oh, we're doing an Our Lady of Guadalupe for the first time, and you must come see this. It's never before been done at our parish.
Yes. And there's a reflection service, and there's a Sambangabi. There's
Thank you. Thanks for adding to my list. Yeah. And you know what? It started stressing me out. And you know, normally I am very joyful for Advent. And this year I've been struggling. These last week or so, I've been dealing with some depression. I'll just put it out there. It's not really something that I've talked about or want to talk about because too often, and yes, I'm kind of looking at you a little, Lisa, but when I say stuff like that, people want to fix it.
Yeah.
Or they want to pep me up or, and I can't be forced with this. So
I wouldn't say fix it. People want to help.
Yes. And sometimes it's not our family. Yes. I'm guilty of it too. I know.
Right. It's just instinct to want to help somebody.
Yeah. Because it's not normal for me. I mean, not outwardly at least. So
it's leading you into a different mood, we'll call it, for Advent this year.
Yeah. Yeah. And I call it my funk. And I've just the last few days, this weekend, I've just been in a really big funk. I just could not make myself do the things on my to-do list at all. And I recognize it. It's just something I'm going through with the season of life. There are other things going on in my life right now that I'm not sharing that have made me feel, I'll say, left behind. And like there's all these different pathways in life and I don't know where to go with them. And so, I don't know. So Advent's been a little different.
Is joyful anticipation. And
I'm not feeling joyful about my anticipations.
You're not feeling so joyful about waiting and expectant hope, right? Which I don't think you're alone. I think there's probably many of our listeners. I think there's lots of other people who have trouble and struggle with the holidays. And so last year's Advent episode was all kind of like rah rah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Just it was a different tone. And so I do want to invite people to, if they, if maybe I still want you to listen to this one, but that one was very different. So go back and listen to that one too. Episode 28, Joyful Anticipation, Discovering the Heart of Advent. And we really talked deeply about what is Advent and the readings and all of that, but today, that's not quite our tone today, is it?
It's not mine. As we're sitting here talking, though, I keep thinking you're right. I need to use this time. I need to use this time of Advent this year to reorient myself to the expectations. I think that's part of it. My future feels so out. I don't like the word. I do not like the phrase out of control or out of my control. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It feels uncertain and it feels very like I don't know that I can have a plan for my life because I don't know where I want to be. And there's like all these different opportunities, but I don't know which one is going to happen or what to do. And so it makes me, melancholy is too strong a word. But I don't sit in joyful anticipation of these things coming to pass. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
It does. And I told you earlier that I kind of wondered if I was trying to turn my thoughts, a little more spiritual. And I thought, okay, well, I wonder if Mary felt like this. The angel shows up. Hey, you're going to have a baby. I'm not married. Don't worry about it. Just trust in God. I'm the handmaid of the Lord. Okay. And I know Mary is immaculately conceived. She is without original sin. So yes, she probably was like, perfect trust God, whatever you want, God, no matter that I'm not married. Didn't say Joseph was without the original sin. He must have worried.
And there might have been some time riding that donkey pregnant that she was like, all right, I'm about done with this.
Right?
The riding the donkey.
Right?
I don't mean Jesus. But I mean, no. I loved it. I think we both have kids and have been pregnant. And I think most pregnant women can understand, especially that weary, like you worry, you think about the future, you think about what's coming and you're tired and it's hard to joyfully anticipate all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you made me think I wrote a blog post years ago. It's still on our stories about, I was pregnant with my youngest and I wrote something about Jesus must have been a preemie because I can't imagine at that stage of pregnancy riding on the donkey and going to another city and not knowing where you're going to stay and not having a plan and that sort of thing. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, this time of year for us, there's lots of expectations. There's lots of schedules. There's lots of things to do. And I have felt myself kind of get caught up in that. From what you see on social, what you get in your emails, all the notifications of do this, do that. And then as I'd say podcasters, as Catholic writers, there is oh my gosh, do we need to be doing these things? Do we need to create and do? And so I'm with you on that. And if you remember, for me, a couple of years ago, I was in a funk for Advent/holiday season, and you came over and helped decorate my house.
I'd forgotten that. You're right.
Because I just couldn't, for all the reasons. I was going through some stuff and I couldn't get up the energy. I knew I needed to do it, but I just couldn't get it done. So I think it's
you're
good
offering to come over
acknowledge.
and help me clean my house.
Clean? I thought we were decorating.
I can't pull out the boxes until I
Yes,
I got
I
Halloween
would do
put
that.
away. That's good, right?
I would do that. I would come help you.
I'm still thinking
let's get through Thanksgiving.
I was about to say, I'm still thinking about going back to the grocery store for the celery and onions and getting in line. And how far in advance do I need to take the bread out to get stale and cook the cornbread. And
okay, deep breath.
And I'm
deep
stressing.
Breath, deep breath. Yes, yes, I know. I can hear it.
There's
so
all these expectations.
We were talking about this earlier, and I remembered we had a dear pastor of our parish, previous pastor, many, many years ago. I think you had first moved to the church, to our neighborhood. And I was going through again, moving into my house, cleaning out stuff, going through stuff. And I found notes, I take notes during Mass. I found some notes that I'd written about one of his homilies for Advent. And I think that it is appropriate for us today and then this kind of season and funk and all of that. Do you remember which priest I'm talking about?
Yes. You're talking about I don't even want me to say his name or not, but
no.
But he's the guy that I remember he always would say, if you don't come to church to get beat up, like you don't come to church to be told of all the sin and all the wrong. You come to church to be recharged and refreshed and renewed, because the world will beat you up. Mm-hmm. You will beat yourself up. Mm-hmm. So that's not the point of coming to Mass.
Yes. He had a huge message of God loves you more than you could love yourself. And just about allowing yourself to be loved by God. And so I found these notes, and it was about just letting yourself experience Advent simply. Like, don't give in to all of the pressure and stress and, make yourself crazy.
Like, I don't have to create the perfect Christmas for my house guests, or make sure that the peanut brittle gets made, or make sure that, that silly elf is still in the house.
No. And you don't have to go to all the Advent things at the church. You don't. So, do you want me to tell you what the first one was?
Oh, yeah.
You ready? Ready? Attend Mass.
So you just said don't go to all the things at the church.
Nope. But you're going anyway on Sunday.
I know. So you're right. I am going anyway on Sunday.
Just go to Mass on Sunday. And I think in our episode last year, you had a great suggestion, and that was to go 10 minutes early.
It's true.
Or stay in the pew a few minutes later and just pray. I mean, just go and pray and sit and just be with God.
Well, you are right. Advent is the one time a year they don't turn the lights off really, really fast after Mass.
Don't jump up. Just take it a little more slowly. Get there early and then leave a little bit later. Now, if you find yourself in a position like I am going to try to go to a daily Mass, because I haven't done that in a long time. And I think that this would be a good time for me to try to get in a habit or to experience an extra Mass here and there. So of course you could always do that. But the idea isn't to add if you don't feel it or want it, just.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some weeks I go to a daily Mass, not every day. So, but sometimes I can work it into my schedule. But I have found myself lately filling it in with, I don't have time for that.
Oh, yeah.
So that, could be contributing to.
So maybe it's not something you put on a to-do list. You just, if you feel called to go, like if it pops up for you, then go.
Yeah.
Don't put the expectation on yourself that it's got to be something you do. And I think that's going to be, I know I said this is a list, 5 things. It's a list, but you'll see it's not a to-do list type of
Lisa
item.
can't do anything without a list, y'all. She has to have I have a list of things we're going to do, but we're not going to do them, but we're going to do them. But
yes,
but this is a
doable list.
But this one's a doable, but don't check them off.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead and do that habit tracker and check them.
I know. It's a thing.
Do you know, Lisa, that I worked at that office in West Houston for I forget how many years off the top of my head now. That crazy.
It was
8
10.
years. Yeah. So I worked at that office for so many years, and it wasn't until the last 2 years that I discovered there was a Catholic church right around the corner, like across the highway and down a couple blocks, where I could go to a daily mass because they started at 12:10 and they were done by 12:40.
They did a lunch
12:45.
mass. Yeah.
And you had time. It was like a businessman special. So I could not go daily. I mean, I couldn't even go weekly, but I could start going like to Ash Wednesday, or I could go if I really needed to. And then I discovered they had an adoration chapel that was open at the same time. And
pop
so
in.
you could go like, oh, I've got to run an errand and pick something up from Office Depot or whatever coffee shop. And I just happened to drive by this church for 10 minutes, 10 minutes to say, hello, Jesus. So I hadn't thought of that in a long time.
That's fine. That's going to go well with number 3. But we're going to go to number 2.
Oh, okay.
Number 2 is spend time with the Word of God. Again, something that most of us are maybe doing, whether it's reading the mass readings on Sundays before you go, or maybe you're listening to Bible in a Year on a podcast, or you read the scripture readings, mass readings every day, or you get a devotional in your email. Like, there's so many ways that you might already be doing this. So the idea is to do it with the intention to acknowledge that this is how you're spending your Advent. Not just keep doing it because you're doing it, but think about it because of Advent.
That's true.
Because I know you read the mass readings before you go, not just when you're a lector or proclaimer of the word, but you actually read the mass readings before your Sunday mass.
I usually do, yes. I will admit that I lost my November Magnificat and it still hasn't turned up around the house. I don't know where it is, but
that's okay.
I got December in the mail 2 days ago.
There you go.
I've already put it in my purse. Like, I'm not going to lose it this time. So, and I do like to read the readings. You're right. I don't always remember to, but when I do.
Started to go back to Hallow. We talked about Hallow in an episode and how I've discovered Hallow, the prayer app. And I listen to the daily readings with a reflection almost every day. In the morning.
Did you do the one with Jeff Cavins?
Yes, the one with Jeff Cavins.
Oh, he's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I listen to it almost every day while I'm getting up and getting ready in the morning, or drinking my coffee, or, just puttering on. I just said puttering.
Yes, you did.
How old am I?
Do you want me to answer that?
Granny used to say that, didn't she? Puttering around the house. So, okay.
Yes.
All right. Do you want me to tell you what number 3 is then? How are you doing so far? Are these causing you anxiety?
I'm good, but I wanted to show you that
Okay.
My small group gave me, and this is starting to feel like another to-do list thing.
Uh-oh.
But
yeah.
I got my new Advent journal.
Yes.
This one is the Rejoice by Ascension Press by Father Mark Toops. And I love these. I have done one or two of these in the past. But this year I'm debating whether I'm even going to crack it open. Isn't that terrible? So
no, it's not terrible.
Maybe I will feel like it. But again, it used to be just a book. And now I'm looking at it. It's like there's a community online. There's videos that you can watch. There's family resources. There's daily meditation. I'm like, can I just read the reflection and sit with it and write my stuff?
Okay, you ready? I'm going to tell you number 3, and it's going to answer your question. You ready?
Okay, tell me number 3.
Make space in your day to breathe. So the answer to that question is no, you don't have to do it.
But I paid for the book already.
It will be applicable in 3 years with the readings again.
Good point. I won't have to pay for it in 3 years.
But just to, like we talked about, rest. Just give yourself space to rest. And something else that our previous pastor used to say is watch for God moving in your life. Like, that rest gives him space for you to see him moving. And he said it, moving in your life and acting in your life. And that is something that you can put that on your to-do list. But it's something that we know we need to do, but we don't always remember to do because we're so busy running around doing everything else. And so just giving yourself that time to take a deep breath.
Yeah. Remember we went to that, was it like a parish conference?
The Archdiocesan Conference a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Was it like a month? Was it just a few weeks ago? It feels like it was a month or two ago. But, oh, well. We heard the auxiliary bishop talk about that, about rest, and how he said, do you know why? Did we already talk about this on the podcast?
I don't think so. Bishop Idolo. Yeah, I don't think so.
He said, do you know why God rested on the seventh day? Because God is God and he is outside of time. God does not need to rest after 6 days of creation, but he rested purposefully because it's a human action. And it's something that as human beings, we can do to be like God. And so when we do rest, we imitate God. We do what he told us to do. And I know you probably don't remember this, but I do remember the blue laws. I am old enough to remember when things weren't open on Sundays, like not banks, but that the grocery stores were not open. The department stores were not open. You couldn't go shopping on Sundays. Because Mom used to send me to get a gallon of milk.
I think the only things now in Texas that aren't open on Sundays are liquor stores and car dealers. I think
but you can still buy wine at the grocery store afternoon.
Yeah. You can still buy beer and wine at grocery stores, but liquor is a no-go. So, we used to have a much stronger community aspect of rest. And Sunday was a day.
But I see you thinking.
No, I was just thinking, like, I think that it's more of an attitude than it is like, did I go anywhere today? Because I can be super not restful just in my house.
Yeah.
So I think it's an attitude of spending time with God, spending time with your family, maybe building relationships that you don't do during the week, going to church, things like that, I think is resting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I told you that one of the questions he got after was from a woman who actually works for a church, works for one of the parishes. And she was asking him, what if you can't? Like, what if you can't rest on the Sabbath on Sunday, right? And I know this goes way back when my girls were little, and even when I had my son, that I've always worked full-time out of the house until 2020. I've worked full-time. So 21 years, I was a work out of the house mom with kids in daycare. And the weekends were not days of rest at all. The days on the weekends were, okay, meal plan, grocery shop, get all the laundry done, get everything done, do the yard, spend time with the kids, help them with homework projects. And I always felt guilty when, especially stay-at-home moms, would say it was a day of rest. Oh, we've done everything, we've prepped everything leading up to Sunday, and now this is our day of rest. And oh, isn't it wonderful just to rest? And I used to get really angry about that. And then I remember reading a blog post where rest didn't have to be on a Sunday, it could be on a Wednesday. And they had this great value in carving out a whole day. But now that I'm working out of the house and things are a little slower for me, which is nice, I see where there's value in acknowledging that sometimes it's okay to be working in the house. Because my husband and I, we can get the laundry done and our son is at the house and we're still enjoying each other's company. We're folding clothes together. We're making it a competition. My son hates to fold clothes, so we'll sit together and they'll be like, I bet I can fold more clothes than you can in 2 minutes. And, how fast can we race through his clothes, not mine? But, and we're laughing and it's become a game. And so that does feel like more building family relationship and making it fun than work. Sorry, I feel like I just completely sidetracked this whole conversation.
Well, maybe we need to have a conversation about Sabbath and rest at some point. A whole podcast episode about that, because that's not something that I've really, focused on before. And I know it's become kind of popular. People are talking about it again a lot. But yeah, so finding time in your day to rest in God, right? And then so we'll go on to the fourth one. And that is to pray.
True.
Pray.
Which is something we do every day anyway, right? Spontaneous prayer.
Yeah. I'm not saying go to a prayer group. You don't have to start praying the rosary or start doing anything. Just pray. And I think I don't have the podcast episode in front of me, but we've talked about this. Like your prayer could be, "Come, Holy Spirit," or "Jesus, I trust in you," or just saying, "Lord, I need you." Like in a moment, or like, I don't remember what episode it was, but you talked recently about, oh shoot, I forgot what it was. Maybe it was the Divine Mercy at 3:00, but just whatever it is. It could be you pray blessing before meals with your family. Yeah. And like with my family, we don't just say the blessing before meals. We also use that time for spontaneous prayer and prayer intentions, which sometimes then the food gets a little cold, but it's a time when we're all together. And so we do take that opportunity to pray.
I think the only time we've done that is Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because think about it growing up, and I think we talked about this one in one of the family traditions, holiday traditions episodes, but going around the big table with Dad and all the Henley family was, "I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that." And and then I think one year we ended it with an Our Father, and that's when I realized that there's people who aren't Catholic add on a whole little phrase.
Yeah.
Because we stopped praying. We were like, "Lead us not into evil." And we were like, "Amen." And they were like, "For thine is the kingdom."
Yeah.
That was funny.
No, even when my kids were little, like we would do this and they would like, "Thank God for the trees and thank God for the," they almost make it a competition of how many things they could list out. But I look back at there were some times I was irritated, as a mom. I'm like, "All right, wrap it up. Like, okay, you can thank God for the grass tomorrow. Like, come on." But, I look back on that and just how simple it was and that it taught them about being grateful, and I appreciate that. But so number 4 is just to pray.
Yep. It's an easy one. It's already something we do, so it doesn't even need to be on a to-do list.
No, it doesn't. Unless you're not doing it. And then that just should be on your life to-do list.
Yeah.
All right, number 5, the last one.
What is it?
Be surprised in the morning that you wake up. You have talked about this with one of our current priests, parish priests, about doing what every morning when you wake up. I can't remember when you talked about this.
I don't know. The Father Joy always says, when you get up and you make the sign of the cross before you get out of bed, and he looks out at the congregation, what? You don't do that? That's normal. And I started doing that. And I wake up and I'll make the sign of the cross before I climb out of bed.
Yeah.
Or if my feet are already on the floor. But what's got me when you said that, Lisa, is you said be surprised.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of death in the family lately. And then recently, I know you've got family dealing with some of this, and I've got some friends who have recently are dealing with severe illnesses. And it's the idea of being surprised that you wake up.
Every day.
I got stuck on the 4 a.m. phone calls, so.
Yeah. Every day, just be grateful and thankful. Right? That you have another day.
Yeah.
And I needed to read this one this morning because I woke up cranky. And I did. I just, for whatever, didn't sleep well. I think my dog was like pawing at my back all night or something, and he's horrible to sleep with. I'm just saying. And I woke up cranky and it's already, I'm awake and I didn't need to be awake quite yet. And I just had to remind myself, like, be surprised and grateful that you have another day, right? Don't take it for granted. Appreciate it. It's a gift.
Sorry, this is not appropriate, but the line that just went through my head is, and don't screw it up.
God will always love you. He will always love you. Yeah. You are going to, you know what? You are going to screw it up.
So best get it done. Best get it done before 8 a.m., right? So that the rest of the day is okay.
Right. Hopefully not in big ways.
You're not waiting to anticipate if you're going to screw it up.
Right. Exactly. Just quit giving yourself a hard time. Quit giving yourself a hard time. Mm-hmm. I think, to me, that's the message of Advent this year. This whole joyful anticipation, this waiting, for the arrival of Christ as a baby. You think of nesting as a pregnant woman, like, it's going to be okay. Okay? You can't control it. There's all these expectations that people have for how this next 4 weeks are going to go. Just, take a deep breath, rest in Christ, and be grateful for what you have right in front of you.
Yeah. I like your 5 ways to, whatever you called it, experience Advent. Trying to acknowledge your need for the list.
The list, I know.
But one of them, I'm going to go back to one of them real quick, and that was number 2, I think, the spending time with God.
Yes.
Because you're right, I have read the readings for this coming first Sunday in Advent. And there is a little bit of, I'll say, soothing for it. But the first Sunday, we're talking about Christ's return, not little baby Jesus, but the second coming, right? Mm-hmm. We've been in the book of Revelations all last week. And, for Christ the King that we just had, the big end of our liturgical year. Too churchy. You're giving me that look. Okay.
Oh, no. Sorry, I was actually looking out the window because my dog was chasing the squirrel. But go ahead.
Oh. Okay, we need a hand code for, that's not you, that's the dog.
I know. Sorry. I was like, was he going to catch it? Okay, good. Christ the King, end of the liturgical year. Go.
Okay, so this first Sunday, the readings are about watching for signs. Mm-hmm. And there's a great line, and I remember this one especially from Matthew Kelly. Do not let your hearts become drowsy. But what I wrote down in my journal was, the days are coming, and they say, beware, be vigilant, and pray for strength.
I love that.
And then
I love that, especially what we've talked about today.
Strengthen your hearts. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it's almost like the readings for this Sunday were there to kind of counteract what you said you've been experiencing.
Stop
What?
it. Well, maybe Advent knows that some of us are entering the season with a heavy heart. And it's telling us, I know the whole rest of that one is about carousing and drink, but it also says, don't become drowsy from the anxieties of daily life. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So,
which that really speaks to me. Yeah. Because daily life is full of ups and downs and chaos and expectations and, stuff.
So dear listener, we invite you to be vigilant, and we ask you to pray for strength. Strengthen your hearts, and you can tuck us in there too if you don't mind. Just those 2 crazy sisters that I listen to. Give them some strength. Yeah, get through Advent,
and go easy on yourself.
Yeah,
go easy on yourself this Advent. Just like we said, rest on God and pray.
That's all I got today.
I think that's good. Okay. Thank you for listening. And I'm going to ask for a Christmas present from you, dear listener, not from Shelly. Shelly's like, what, from me? No, Christmas present from the dear listeners. If you have a moment and if you're so inclined, we would love a review on wherever you're listening to us or watching us, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. We would love a review. It would help other people discover us, and it would be just a great gift this end of this year to kind of help us keep going in the new year.
Yeah, you haven't asked for a review in a long time, Lisa.
I haven't. No, I really...
I didn't know where you were going at first. I was like, a gift? What?
A gift? What do you want?
Yeah, Lisa's love language is words of affirmation. So
that is true. That is actually true. I'm surprised you know that. It is actually true.
How do you think I've been getting along with you for the last...
That's right. That's right. Mine is words. My husband knows that. Mm-hmm. All right, Shelly. Again, happy Thanksgiving. And we wish everyone a joyful, calm, peaceful Advent.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And happy holidays. And if you're driving, pack your patience. And listen to us again. Find another episode.
Next week with, we have a guest next week. So.
Oh, I've been looking forward to releasing this one.
Yes. Yeah. So we look forward to you coming back and hearing some really good stuff from our guest. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.